Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to that video, and this is a paid request for. I apologize, but I'm gonna butcher your name. Ciaran, Ciaron, An. See, I already butchered the spelling of it. Ciaran, Ciaran. Yeah, I apologize for butchering your name, man. I'm sorry, but thank you for the request. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Usually the best way to do it. I do have a Cash App as well, because people have asked about that. Links are down below in the info box. It could be pretty much any type of video. I'll get to it as soon as I can. I also apologize for the weight of it. I'm trying to get these out to people as soon as I can. But thank you for your patience. They wanted me to look into a Doctor Who episode. Well, I say episode. It was a 4-parter, actually. So technically it was about 2 hours altogether. Because each one's about 20 to 30 minutes. So like an hour and 20 to 2 hours. But it's from the 7th season of Doctor Who, and it was the first episode with the actor Jon Pertwee, who I believe was the 3rd Doctor. And it's called Spearhead from Space. As I'm watching, I'm sitting there going, why is this? It seems familiar, but I know I've never seen this before. And I realize it's because what's going on is familiar to me. When a while ago I reviewed when they rebooted the show, and it starred Christopher Eccleston as Doctor Who, where you had these figures that would be robots, and the store mannequins come alive. They start hunting people, which is what happens in this one. And here it's called the Autons. I'm like, oh, okay. It was interesting to see. It's weird to say a different take because this was first, but it was kind of interesting to see the comparison between the two. I will say I didn't mind it for what it was. I don't know if it needed to be 4 parts. It felt like maybe three parts it could have told the story sufficiently enough. I do know I like Jon Pertwee. I did like him as the Doctor. Sadly, for the first half, he really doesn't have a whole lot to do. Just pretty much he lands, he collapses, he's outside the TARDIS, he's in the hospital. I mean, other than the fun reaction where he realizes he has a new face. And he's like, oh no, that's not me at all. Well, actually, it's rather distinctive. It's flexible. And he has a bit of a twinkle in his eye, so I did like his performance. But I said for the first half, he doesn't have a whole lot to do for his first episode. So pretty much the story is that there's this meteorite shower, and these weird little things land. At times it's like a chrysalis that's blinking, and one of the local farmers find it and keeps one for himself. I guess to sell it later or whatever. The others seem like they open and there's just not much left of whatever was in it. Meanwhile, the Doctor lands and he collapses outside the TARDIS. He's taken into the hospital. And then we meet other characters. We have a female scientist named Liz Shaw. And then we have this brigadier called Lethbridge Stewart, part of a group called UNIT, who listen to these UFO situations. And apparently he's worked with the Doctor before, when he was in a different form. So he doesn't know this guy's the Doctor yet because he looks different. And that's when the Doctor wakes up and is like, oh, you don't recognize me? Let me see a mirror. Oh my god, that's not me. So some figures try to take the Doctor, but he escapes in his wheelchair, his mouth is taped up. but then he gets wounded, then he's unconscious again, so he's out of action again. So it's like you're just waiting for the doctor to be able to get up and do something, be able to say more and do more and get more into the story. Pretty much the bad guys, they took over this plastic factory, and the idea is that they're going to replace people with replicas. Like later on, there's a general that gets taken and pretty much switched and put into like a wax museum, while this general is going to do actions under the authority of these autons, these robots, pretty much, in with plastic shell. I was kind of getting more into it when the doctor got more into it, where he steals some clothes, which look like Jack the Ripper's clothes, to be honest, and he realizes he's got to work with the people on Earth because he tries to get into the TARDIS, but it doesn't work because apparently his head honchos, they have stranded him there because the TARDIS is not working. I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know if that's info I need to know beforehand or was in the previous season as to why that would happen, but for some reason the TARDIS ain't working. And he's pretty much working with the scientists to see what's going on and look at these like kind of remaining shells and see what he pieced together. One guy escapes the factory and tells the brigadier and the doctor what's going on, what he saw, that there's these, and I like the look. I do like the look of the mannequin. I would say I like the way they look here than in the Christopher Eccleston one. Because they look, because of how old-fashioned they look a little bit creepier. They remind me a bit of that movie Tourist Trap. And I like how their hands open up with, and there's like little guns. And also, this kind of, it's a way of doing violence without blood. So I thought this was kind of interesting, where they would fire and kill someone, but then if someone goes complete destruction, they'll fire again, and then you'll see an explosion, and then there's nothing left. There's completely nothing left of the person. So I'm like, oh shit, okay then. That's a bit interesting. That's a bit, creepy, and I'm like, okay then, that's different. That's a bit different. So I did like that. I'm like, okay. Okay, let's try my reaction to it. But one thing leads to another. The guy who's the farmer, he tries to ask, hey, is there a reward for these blinking ball things? The robots, mannequins, they find out where that's at. They want what's theirs. Take care of people in their way. The doctor and other people come in. They shoot at the mannequin thing. He runs off. They have the blinking ball. They're able to look into it to see what's going on. They figure a bit of what's going on with it. This is around the time we find out that the actual general, he's been replaced. I thought they were going to do a bit more of kind of a body snatchers type of thing where you don't know who to trust, like a little bit of paranoia of, well, who can I trust this person, and actually, are you human, are you not? Like maybe there'd be a little bit more like paranoia infused with the story, a little bit of suspense. I didn't really feel that within the story, because everything gets telegraphed to the viewer pretty much. I didn't really think of any reveal like, oh my god, he was one all along. Like none of that really came into play, which I was a bit surprised by. long story short, by the end, the mannequins in various stores throughout. Which I'm trying to think. So did whatever was in these things escape, and this is not physical, it's like an energy. Did it then float out and get to the mannequin store? The store mannequins? Or did they get to this factory and then they started placing these store mannequins around everywhere in the city, and then when the time comes, they come out and they try to shoot as many people as possible? I'm guessing that's the case since it was a plastics factory. I guess they did say that they're sending them all around the place. So I'm guessing that was the plan, to be fair. So I guess I answered my own question. Yeah, I would say that stuff kind of looked better here with the practicality of it. I'd probably say as a whole, though, I probably liked the Christopher Eccleston one more because the Doctor had a little bit more in play. He was a little bit more involved with the situation. And then you introduce this new female character. There's a little bit more dialogue between the two, playing off each other. There's a little bit more story where the Doctor knew these from long ago, and he's trying to. But then they're blaming the Doctor for something that happened back then, and like this felt like there's a little bit more meat to the matter to the story compared to this one. The ending was kind of fun to watch, where the mantis all going crazy, just shooting people left and right, off of bicycles or other places. Folks getting shot left and right, and the Doctor created this device that could affect some of them, and I kind of wish he could have used some of that more. But he stops like the fake general. What are you doing? And they see, and it's revealed as to what it truly was. Like I said, the way they look. I said I like the way they looked. Is that tourist trap feel to it? The ending. I mean, I like that it finally picked up and some stuff was happening. But something about like in the factory, they're creating this physical embodiment. I don't know what for, because it feels like the mannequins are doing a better job than this fucking tentacle thing you're making. Just keep up with your mannequin stuff. I don't remember what the purpose was of the tentacle thing. I guess maybe it was supposed to get bigger and take over or whatever, but it was kind of a goofy looking tentacle thing that then grabs the Doctor, and the scientist has to rework the machine, and finally gets to the Doctor and he kind of shoots at it for a bit, and then it's over. I know the final result is, like I said, all this build up to this kind of goofy looking tentacle thing. It's like, really? Again, one positive is like Jon Pertwee. I quite liked as the Doctor. I liked his personality. Felt like he had a little bit more warmth to him than maybe some other folks. I just kind of wish he wasn't so taken out of action in the first half of, the. If I link these all up as a movie, like the first half of it, he doesn't really get to do a whole lot. It just seems like there's some stuff here that could be edited down or reworked a bit to have a bit of a faster pacing. And maybe also because of how little money they had, that you only do so much of what they have here. But I said, I don't know if this is a story that need to be stretched out into 4 parts. I think it seemed like maybe 3 parts would suffice. And apparently the rooster there agrees. But I mean, with that said, I didn't hate it or anything. It was interesting to watch. I like the look of the mannequin figureheads. Jon Pertwee, I say, he was fun. The woman who played Liz Shaw, I mean, the character was kind of there. She wasn't bad or anything. She wasn't, at least she wasn't wooden or dry, I'll give you that. The guy who's the part of the group unit. They said they were fine. I could take or leave them. They didn't bother me, but it wasn't something I found memorable. It was like, yeah, it is what it is. And kind of how I felt about the thing. It kind of was what it was, and I thought it kind of took a bit too much time to get started, and it took a bit for it to get going. Like I say, the ending, the fact it's just this little tentacle thing is like, oh, okay. It is what it is. I will say, I mean, with Doctor Who, it always has a killer theme. I do love that theme. So, I'm trying to think, is there anything in my notes I'm forgetting? Probably the rooster pissed I forgot something. I mentioned how it was kind of cool how they shot out of their hands and the way they showcased that. No, I mean, that's pretty much it. Actually, you know what? Let me see if there's anything on here. Sorry about this. Any info I could get from this that I should have looked at before. The doctor tells Stewart that his name is Dr. John Smith, and alias he used in The Wheel in Space. The working title of the serial was Facilime and was based on a story that Robert Holmes wrote for the 1965 film Invasion, featuring an alien crashing in the woods near a rural hospital where a medical exam reveals his alien nature. The hospital is later visited by other aliens seeking a fugitive criminal. It was filmed on location in order to circumvent union rules. Shot entirely on film, the only classic serial shot entirely on film, as was then the standard location filming. The majority of filming was undertaken at the BBC Engineering College of Wood Norton near Evesham and the pub in nearby Radford. I guess this also was one of the first Doctor Who's to be in color. For the logo of Doctor Who, this tried to be a bit more stylized, especially in the presentation of the D and Doctor. Let's see. Came out in 1970. Some critics liked it, said it was a potent combination of horror and sci-fi. AV Club felt that the Autons were secondary to the serial's main goal of introducing new cast, but commented that they provide some effectively chilling moments. Wrote that the major flaw was the pacing, as it spent too much time establishing the new status quo before getting to the action. Yeah, I can agree with that. I do definitely agree with that. Actually, I wanted to ask. Well, I wanted to see. How long was John Pertwee the Doctor? It says season 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that was 1970, and this was Planet of the Spiders, 1974. So, count 1970. So yeah, about 5 years. So, I was trying to see, like, was that John Pertwee's choice? Was that the network's choice? That, you know, I would assume so, because some of them were definitely stayed on there longer than others. So I would assume it's their choice. Yeah, I'm a Doctor Who noob. I'm a complete noob to the whole thing. So feel free to educate me. Maybe someone's like, okay, after 5 years, I'm a bit done. I would assume. But yeah, I'm a total noob when it comes to Doctor Who. So take whatever I say with the biggest grain of salt. But that said, it was still nice to watch because it was nice to enjoy John Pertwee's performance. Again, I like the look of the Autons. I like some of the bits with them. I definitely think the bits with them were some of the more effective ones, with the plastic blank look on their face and the weaponry and them taking people out left one by one. There's definitely the moments that shine. But yeah, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye for now.